other differences, such in terms of software and technology, to address the different surgical needs. Some technologies are related with visualization and then allow you to see beyond what the human eye can see. Let me show some examples. First example, the fluorescence. There's 3 different types of fluorescence that can be used according with the surgeon's needs. The FL400 is the one used together with the 5 other differences, such in terms of software and technology, to address the different surgical needs. Some technologies are related with visualization and then allow you to see beyond what the human eye can see. Let me show some examples. First example, the fluorescence. There's 3 different types of fluorescence that can be used according to the surgeon's needs. The FL400 is the one used together with the 5 software and technology to address different surgical needs. Some technologies are related to visualization and allow you to see beyond what the human eye can see. Let me show some examples. First example, the fluorescence. There's 3 different types of fluorescence that can be used. Talking about image visualization, you can find 4 more examples of visualization technologies. The microscope can be integrated with a neuronavigation system to have image-guided surgery. With this, it's possible to clearly see the 2-dimensional microscope image in relation to the 3-dimensional brain structures. On the other hand, the microscope image can be injected into the eyepieces, and there's no need for the surgeon to look away from the surgical site to the monitor during surgery. Furthermore, it's also possible to do heads-up surgery by positioning the optics carrier and the card-mounted 3D monitor when necessary. This allows you and the remaining team to follow the surgery through the microscope monitor or the 3D big monitor. And last but not the least, it's also possible to stream the surgery live video to a mobile or a desktop device. Let's now move forward on our agenda, looking into the microscope anatomy. Andy is going to show you important aspects related with the microscope anatomy in some short videos. He will talk about optics carrier, stand, and the user interface. Let's have a look. And last but not the least, it's also possible to stream the surgery live video to a mobile.
What are the main components of the optics carrier? What is its function? The name says it, optics carrier. It carries the optics. So optics in this way means internal optics, which is zoom for magnification change, which is focus for sharpness. Then we have optics for illumination, to bring the light to the optical site, the surgical site. We have optics by means of observation optics. Let's start in the front, main surgeon. Let me turn around. Opposite assistant surgeon. And here, lateral assistant. These binocular tubes, that's how they're called, carry eyepieces. There's choices. Look them up, okay? We have different binocular tubes. That means different features. By nature, that binocular tube is an ergonomical bridge between the eyes of the observer, the surgeon, and the field. So, depending on the height or shape of user, you might select one binocular or the other. It's not just an optical part, it's an ergonomical part. I show you on the front one what you can do with it. You can raise it, you can lower it, you can turn it sideways. Why this? Because if the surgeon is working in angled situations, his neck can be relieved by readjusting the binocular to a horizontal line, so makes it comfortable. The same applies for the assistant opposite side. If I show you now the lateral assistant, there's so many joints. You can lower and increase. You can turn around the front. You can incline here. Everything to accommodate the assistant to whatever position the main surgeon has chosen to work most comfortable for him. So he has more freedom, but for nothing else, not to interfere with the main surgeon's choice. The optics carrier has different knobs. It also has handles. Let's talk about this now. The handles, it says it. You grab it, left and right are symmetrical. You have switches for brake release, which is either whole stand free or nothing but the optics is free to move. You have knobs in the front labeled as WD, working distance, which is sharpness or focus, and mag for magnification. On top you have a short little joystick for moving the microscope electromotorically, and actually I would call it micrometrically, in a certain way to auto angles without releasing the brakes. Let's have a look on microscope stands. We differentiate between different concepts of stand, the classical design, and a second one, which we will be looking at after, the overhead concept. What are the components and the functions of a stand? Primarily, the stand has to hold the microscope and has to allow its ease of movement and, of course, positioning at the OR table. The components the stand is built of is carrying the microscope, an arm, which should be preferably of long reach, the arm is carried by a column. The column goes down into the base, and the base with 4 large wheels, each having brakes. It's important that during surgery, the brakes are locked. If we come up again from the column, let's have a look on the main part, the rear side of the arm, that is holding many functions. It's holding a camera control unit. It's holding lamps in here, xenon lamps of strong light, high performance. It has several connectors for additional functions like foot switch or external monitors. It can carry an optional video recording device and, most important for you, for daily use, a graphical user interface that we will be looking at later more in detail. And obviously, main switch for power on and light on off. In addition, this rear side of the arm is holding a large second arm that carries a monitor. In this case, you see a 27-inch full HD touch monitor that allows not only easy of use, but also to position it in such a way that in the OR, the various OR staff members always have a clear view on what's going on. What is the most important of the stand, as I said at the very beginning, is carrying the microscope, and this in a balanced way so that the surgeon effortlessly can position it wherever he needs it. That's part 1 of the stands before we switch to the second concept. As mentioned previously, the second concept of stands is the overhead concept, which you can easily recognize here. Here, in this stand, we have a very, very long reach. It goes high up, and it allows the surgeon to stand underneath leaving more space for the rest of the equipment and team, the staff. Just like the other stand also, it consists of the similar components: microscope, long arm, and the tower. The tower contains illumination, electronic concepts like video recording or DICOM if you wish, and it has several connectors for external monitors. On top, it carries a large monitor, again 27-inch. Let's have a look at the graphical user interface first, and secondly, let's have a look on video recording, which is intuitive, easy. I turn the microscope around, allowing you to see the rear side of the stand, where we have access to the graphical user interface. And you, by the way, just noticed how easy the stand is to fold, to turn around. This is based on a balance system and electromagnetic brakes. Graphical user interface, let's have a closer look. This is the graphical user interface. It's a touch panel, as you know from your smartphones. And just like you know from your smartphones, its use is intuitive. So you can easily and quickly go through. What we have here is many functions. You can vary the intensities, magnification. You can vary the speeds of the focus or the magnification. And what we also have is we have presets. The button here, user, you can have either individually programmed surgeon profile, or you have presets depending on the different applications. Could be cranial, could be ENT, could be spine, and could be others. We have the home button, we have the speed button, we have a menu button, and we have a question mark button, which allows you to look into some quick guidance on how to do single steps like mounting accessories and others. In addition to the graphical user interface touch panel, we have buttons for lamp on off and balancing. Video in the OR is important. If it's about video display, here again, 27-inch touch monitor, full HD, or besides of display, recording. Let me show you how easy the recording is on this example here. When I touch the monitor, the parameters appear, so you can select a new case. Then it appears where you can enter the patient data, either here with a touch monitor keyboard, or you can import those data with DICOM. That's an option. You can press capture, so it takes pictures. You can press record, the video starts recording. Press it again, it stops. And once it's recorded, here, the button called review, you will see the recorded, whether it's pictures or videos, as a selection, and then you can select and display again. If you like to export those data, here you have copy. A pop-up appears, and whether it's a USB stick or a HD drive attached to it, it recognizes, and you simply copy it onto it. This is so intuitive and easy, as you know from your smart devices or computers.
I hope you enjoyed the videos. Thank you very much, Andy. Now that we have reviewed together the microscope's basic anatomy, let's focus on how to balance and how to drape the microscope, two of the key preparation steps before starting surgery. When you work with a surgical microscope, you know how important it is to balance it properly. If not well balanced, it's going to be difficult to move it smoothly during surgery. Let's understand one more time with Andy how to balance correctly the microscope.
Maneuverability is the function of the stand. And ease of maneuverability is based on a perfect balancing. This is the content of this chapter. So let's go through each single step. At first, unfold the arm, bring it to an approximate 90-degree angle. Remember, we've seen in the chapter of optics carrier, A, B, and C. Just as a remember. Go to the back side of the microscope. The optics carrier is in A position. You press the button labeled Auto Balance. Press it. A green light starts blinking. A logo appears showing it's in balance. Then it tells you to go back to the microscope and put it in B position. That's B position. When you do so, watch out for the binocular on the back side. You see the indication B. Press the very same button, still blinking again. You will hear motors engaging. What this is about is shifting weights in order to compensate center of gravities. It says auto balance complete, and it closes that pop-up. Now, if you go to the front, this is the result. Look at this. Mainly 2 fingers. Optics carrier moves very, very easy. So does the stand in rotation, angulation, and reach. And remember also, it's an overhead system allowed to be placed behind the surgeon. Make sure balance is always done perfectly. Make sure you know it. Make sure the staff knows it, because at the end, if it's not done properly, surgeon will suffer, and so will you in your success of selling. One additional point. If intraoperatively position of accessories are shifted, mainly the side assistant, there's a button here called ACBC, intraoperative balancing. Even when covered with a drape, these can easily be accessed and activated by the sterile surgeon or any of the staff, which is sterilely covered.
Thank you again, Andy. And after balancing the microscope, it's important to drape it properly, always without breaking the aseptic technique. So you can have, at the end, something similar to what is showing in this image. We have recently created 2 tutorial videos, specially thinking about you, to make it an easy routine. One is for a microscope with a standard stand, and the other one for an overhead microscope. We understand that you all have different surgical practices and different ways to drape the microscope. So it's important to mention that those videos work as a recommendation, and also they don't replace the instructions given by the manufacturer of the sterile drape. The one I will show you now, it's about how to drape the overhead microscope. Let's have a look.
Before draping the microscope, make sure the binocular tubes are configured in the correct position. And check that the balancing has been done properly. The non-sterile nurse should open the drape for the scrub nurse. Grab the drape with the hand picture facing you. Unfold the drape, first to the left and then to the right. The instructions must be upright and facing you. You will find several rubber bands. Detach them and keep them with you. as they will later be useful to help secure the drape. Find the hand sticker and slide your hand inside the drape to find the lens cover. Hold the tab containing the white dot with your thumb and the other tab with your index finger. Lift the lens cover at the same time as the remaining drape. Match the white dot on the lens cover with the black dot on the microscope and twist to the right until you feel it is secure and locked into place. Move the drape over the microscope head and pull it over the rest of the arm. Your circulator can assist you, pulling the drape from inside over the microscope arm and wrapping the last band. It's now time to drape the eyepieces. The drape has several eyepiece covers. Choose the middle one from the 3 facing you to drape the surgeon's eyepiece. Then use the other ones, depending on the number of eyepieces to be draped. Be careful. The eyepiece drapes are perforated at their end. It is important to be gentle in order to avoid any detachment. Secure the drape using the Velcro straps. Put the remaining drape inside the empty space. Make sure the drape is not covering the lens. Wrap the bands around the microscope head and arm, placing them taped to tape and not taped to plastic, and making sure the drape is fitted airtight to the microscope. Check that the straps are attached around the microscope head and around the arm as shown in the images. Choose the option that best suits your surgical practice. If necessary, the rubber bands can be used to keep the drape tighter to the handles and the main surgeon and assistant binocular tubes. If your microscope is equipped with SMARS, the circulating nurse will press the SMARS button. This will activate the pump to extract the air from under the drape. Rotate the microscope to ensure that it can be moved easily in all directions. The drape shouldn't interfere with microscope movement. You are now ready to work with the Leica microscope.
I hope you enjoyed the video and find it useful. It's something you can easily use, for example, to show to your new staff members as part of their training on the microscope. You can always access our tutorial videos on YouTube or Leica website using the links you can find in your webinar window on the right side of your screen. And with this, we finished the presentation. We covered the basic aspects about some of the Leica surgical microscopes. We've seen that there's different microscopes according with the different disciplines and also what modern neurosurgical microscopes can do today. When looking at the microscope anatomy, we explored 3 main different parts: optics carrier, stand, and user interface. And to finish, we reviewed 2 important key steps before surgery: balance and drape the microscope. Of course, there's much more to know about our microscopes and our equipment. And as any other surgical equipment, you should have a proper training before you use it. Our dedicated team is always available for both training and answering your questions that you may have. So please don't hesitate in contact the Leica account manager for your territory, and together with the clinical specialists and the rest of the team, we will do our best to address your needs. Thank you very much for attending, and me and Andy, we are now ready for your questions.
Thank you so much, Niuza and Andreas, for sharing your experiences with us and for this very insightful presentation. Dear audience, I hope you took away some great learnings. Let's take a look at the supporting technologies once more. The Arvio Digital Augmented Reality Microscope, the M530 OXH Surgical Microscope, and the Provido Microscope. So, and now, as Niuza said, we are ready for your questions. Let's take a look. So we will get the first questions on the screen in just a moment. The first question is, if during surgery, the lateral assistant is moving his binocular, how easy is it to adjust balancing during surgery?
Well, depending on how much the assistant has moved the binocular tubes, you may not need to adjust completely the balance, or you don't need to adjust the balance at all. But in case it's necessary, the surgeon can just simply push the interoperative balancing button, and the microscope itself get balanced again. It's really very, very, very simple and easy to do.
Thank you very much, Neuza. So then let's take a look at the next question. What is the frequency with which it is recommended to balance the equipment?
Look, usually the best practice is to balance the equipment in the morning before you start your list. Or even during your list, if you move the accessories of the microscope. So if for instance, if you remove the lateral assistant because you're performing a brain surgery and the next case, it's a spinal surgery, and the surgeon asks you to remove the lateral assistance and keep only the face-to-face view, you may need to balance your microscope again before that case. So mainly when you start your day, so starting the day, you should check if the balance is well done, and then if there's any measured changings on the optics carrier of the microscope. And as we said before, and as Andy showed in the video, even during surgery, if there is a major changing of the binocular tube, especially the lateral assistant or any other ones, is very easy to just push the intraoperative balancing button and the microscope will be in balance again very quickly, and you can do it even with the sterile drape already.
Well, thanks a lot. So next, our audience would like to know, it's necessary to use Leica sterile drapes for your microscopes?
No, not at all. You can use drapes from different brands. Just have a look in your region what kind of drapes are compatible with our microscopes or with the microscope you are using. If you need any help, please contact the Leica representative for your region, and for sure you will be assisted on that.
Perfect. Sounds good. Our next question coming up is, if during surgery the opposite assistant complains his image is not in focus, is there any way to provide him a sharp image?
Yes, there is. For the microscopes you've seen, so M530OHX, Provido, and Arveo, there is a black knob next to the opposite assistant binocular, allowing him independently to get his image in focus. So that doesn't affect the main surgeon vision and doesn't affect as well the vision you see on the screen. It's a button to focus the image for the assistant only.
Well, that is very helpful.
It is.
Next up, our audience would like to know from you. Let's take a look at the next question. If the image isn't auto focus on the screen, it's possible to adjust the focus without interfering with the surgeon and assistant focus.
Yes, absolutely. I used to call it the scrub nurse friendly button. Because many times the surgeon is in focus, the assistant is in focus, and the image on the screen is not. And you stay there for so long with the image out of focus. And so there is a button on the user interface to do it. And you can ask someone very easily to press the button and the image will be sharp again on the screen. And as you know, for the scrub nurse especially, and of course for all the people around looking into the surgery, is very important to have a sharp image. And the scrub nurse, if she cannot see, she cannot anticipate the surgeon needs. So it's important for everyone to have a sharp image on the screen so everyone can see the surgery properly, learn, and assist.
Absolutely. Thank you for that. Our surgeons are using mouth switch. Does Leica offer a mouth switch?
Yes, we do. In addition, on the control by the handles, that is probably the most common, and the foot switch as well, Leica also offers a mount switch.
Perfect. So, do we have another question? I think that was our final question. Well, thank you again, Niuza. Thank you, Andreas. Thank you for taking the time today and for guiding us through this presentation. Thank you, dear audience, that you were with us today. We hope you gained some great insights, some great learnings. And our summit is continuing until Saturday. So as you can see on the schedule, you have many more opportunities to gain even more insight. And if you have any questions, please do not hesitate to contact us at Leica. We are very happy to answer your questions. So hopefully I will see you in one of the or more of the upcoming sessions. And until then, I say thank you and have a fantastic remaining day.